Hi everybody, my name is Olivia Kim and I'm an adjunct professor at the Rochester Institute of Technology. Right now I'm giving an anatomy lecture to my figure sculpture students, and in particular this is quite a stressful time for many of you. So I want to cover just a little bit, just give you a general idea of how the human brain works, so that you can start to understand your own mental, emotional, and physiological responses to the kind of things that are happening right now. So I want to talk about the three generic sections of the brain. So the first one, which we find in reptiles, okay, is sometimes called the reptilian brain, the reptilian part of the human brain. So that consists of the brainstem and the cerebellum. So you're going to find that in this area right here, okay? So this area of the brain, okay, is responsible for vital functions such as heart rate, right? Boom, 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 right? Breathing, body temperature, as well as balance. Okay, so balance, as you all know, is highly specific, and you know that if you try to move forward and then just a touch too much, it's way too much and your body wants to pull back. So that's what I mean by sense of balance. That we're, in a sense, we have this part of our brain which is hardwired to make sure that if we go out of balance, we pull back, okay? So the reptilian brain is reliable in that many things are kind of hardwired in such a way that you just do it without even thinking. The reptilian brain has a tendency to be more rigid and also more compulsive. So if you've noticed that the response to fear a lot of the time is actually unconscious, okay, and compulsive. So you'll be seeing that some people, if they're in a state of fear, the reptilian brain is highly charged, you're going to notice certain types of body movements and tendencies. One is very rigid right here, okay? There's a rigidity in this area, you'll notice. For those who are feeling particularly very tense and very afraid, you're going to feel a lot of your body's energy focused more in this area right here. Okay, and the tendency is to be more rigid in the neck area, okay, and a lot of this as well, all right? So these are all kind of protective things that we do, okay, to protect our internal body parts and to shelter ourselves, okay? So you're gonna see that kind of physical type of body language in people who are afraid or reacting in a certain way, which is a lot of times unconscious, okay? They're also the people at the computer and the video game people, you know, and I know as some of you are illustrators, there's a lot of this too. So the tendency to do that, I have found at times can actually stimulate more reptilian type, reptilian brain type function, okay? So it's very important that we use our body movements to help balance that out. So instead of doing this, all right, which is kind of telling your body we're in protection mode, you just gotta roll your shoulders back down again, okay? So a lot of times these shoulder rolls, okay, are gonna really help a lot to help you feel more balanced. So now I want to go into the limbic brain. So the limbic brain is kind of the mid area. So it's right here. okay? Now that developed in mammals, okay? So it consists of the hippocampus, the amygdala, and the hypothalamus. Essentially, it records memories of the past, okay? So remember how I told you that as much as possible, you need to stay awake, all right? Not fall asleep into old habits, right? Then let things go into the unconscious. You want to be aware that this limbic part of the brain is recording memories. And in general, in order to protect the body, it will record behavior that, or let's say reactions, okay, that are either considered safe or unsafe for the body. Now it can go under, this is where things can get kind of messy because people's idea of what is safe for the body or not safe for the body can get very mixed up. You could have grown up as a child with parents who were practicing actually unsafe behavior, but because it was apparent, that part of their brain might trap that or, categorize that as safe behavior or behavior that you want to continue. So there's all kinds of things that can happen. So it's very important that you understand the function of the limbic brain, which is to gauge the results of an experience and to make a judgment call. To say, this experience here, that felt good, not necessarily good for you, but that part of the brain will say, oh, that felt good, so that must be good for me, okay? Or when I did this, I helped this person, they thanked me, and that felt good, which made me feel safe, okay? So, you know, the limbic brain holds these memories, and for this reason is tracking the emotional behavior of other humans, as well as your own, and keeping track of all these various experiences, okay? So this limbic brain can work unconsciously if you are not paying attention. And so because it is producing value judgments according to emotional experiences or the types of emotions that are produced within the body depending on the experience it had, right? You have to be very careful about what category you put your experiences in, okay? So that's what I mean by staying awake, all right? And being very watchful and aware. So now I'm going to go into the neocortex. So the neocortex consists of the cerebrum. It's important in primates, and it consists of two hemispheres, okay? So it's the larger part that's here. There are many sayings, saying that the left brain is more rational, governs more rational thought, the right brain is more irrational or imaginative. There are studies that are always developing. I think the most important thing is to realize that the neocortex is responsible for the development of abstract thought, human language, and imagination. So this is where we as creative human beings are going to be interested in this area, because as creatives, I think you will have noticed that when you're in a fearful state, or worried state, or anxious state, right? Have you noticed that when you start to draw, or when you start to sculpt, or you start to go around with your camera, and you start to think in a way that's more imaginative, do you notice how those fears just kind of disappear? So what it is that there are these three general parts to the brain. And if you are unaware of what parts of your brain are functioning at the time, it can be very easy to lose track of what's actually going on. So the neocortex, right, is responsible for the fact that our human cultures have been able to develop, okay? We have the various arts, okay? And essentially, when you lock into the imaginative neocortex part of the brain, you're going to find that your mind is much more flexible. Okay, remember I said the reptilian brain is more reliable but also rigid and also compulsive. Okay, the neocortex, you're going to find this feeling as if you could just continue to learn all the time. You can keep taking in new information, finding new solutions, and finding new ways to see situations. So, so in this time, like I had said, a time of stress for many people, okay, this is a time to become aware of what part of you is actually in action, okay? Because I'm sure you're finding that yourself or those around you may have an overstimulated reptilian part of the brain. And due to that, you're going to get impulsive behavior, totally irrational, survival behavior, where yourself or another person just won't even care. They just want to survive, okay? So it's very important that we become aware of where our energy is mostly concentrated, okay? So I want you to try this exercise. This exercise is going to help you become more aware of where your energy is focused. And I don't mean in some floaty way. I mean that our nervous system relies upon electrical impulses to function. Okay, I'm not sure if you're aware of that. But essentially, electrical impulses jump from nerve to nerve, all right, via a chemical that's released through that from those nerve cells. Okay, so what you're going to find is that in times of confusion or stress, there are going to be almost like clouds of too many chemicals being released all at the same time, an overstimulation. Okay, so I want you to close your eyes. Don't worry, I'm not staring at you now. And then I'd like you to put your hands together like this, okay? You're going to do this. You can do this. If it's too complicated, just simply do this, all right? Now you're going to take your right foot and you're going to place it in front of your left foot, okay? If you have issues with this, just simply stand straight like that. So when you have your hands together like this, this really helps to link together the two hemispheres of the brain or the two sides of the body. Reason being that our hands have hundreds of nerve endings. And so when you place them together, it's almost like you're closing a circuit, okay? So now that we're like this, or like this, you can do either left or right in front, whichever you like, okay? I'm right dominant, so I actually feel better this way, okay? So I'll just do it this way for now. So what you're gonna do, oh wow. Yeah, if this is too unstable, just do this, okay? I'll do the simple version. So now, close your eyes. Now just start to breathe easily, okay? No weird stuff. Just inhale and then exhale. When you exhale, be sure to really let all the air out. So we're going to let all out till your rib cage really feels like it's gotten smaller, okay? Now you're going to inhale. And then you're just going to breathe easily, okay? In and out. Whatever feels good to you, okay? Now at this point, I'd like you to concentrate, okay, on visualizing or feeling where you feel the most amount of your attention being placed in this area right here. We're just going for the just the head and neck area, okay? Now, I actually tried this last night. I was in a state of stress, and I found that this part of my neck was rigid, and a lot of my attention was actually back here. So attention, what do I mean by that? Essentially, attention can mean where you feel the most energy. Sometimes you can feel almost like a little electrical buzzing. Sometimes you feel more sensation in this area, okay? So, you know, there are many ways that you can gauge where most of your attention or energy is focused, okay? So let's say you do feel more here, okay? So if you do, all right, because this is actually to help those who are feeling stressed out right now. I'd like you to breathe in and out. All right, and you see how I breathed in and I lifted my rib cage? Okay, I'll do it again this way. So down like this, so breathing in. See how I lift my rib cage? This is now taking me out of this posture and upwards like this, okay? So it's taking the stress off of the neck and the base of the skull, and now we're straightening this thing up so that you can relax a little bit more. You can feel there's less tension here, okay? Remember how I said that your body movements can actually influence maybe more action in different parts of the brain, such as the reptilian, especially in this neck area, okay? So we're just straightening that out, okay? So you should feel as if you can fill your lungs with more air because of this posture. So instead of this, you're doing this, okay? And now you've got more space, okay? You're not crunching your internal organs in, you're giving space for them to move out. So now you're gonna just keep breathing. And then I'd like you to focus in this area right here, okay? All right, if that's where things are, okay? It may be somewhere else, okay? But I'm guessing that at this time period it's gonna be back there. Now that you're feeling more aware of that area, I'd like you to place your left hand over your heart. The heart is placed on the left side of the sternum, okay? That's the breastbone right here, so it's right here. So what I want you to do is place your left hand over your heart. So close your eyes so that you feel it better. You'll feel the location of it. Okay, so right around here. Now you're going to place the other hand over that area. And then I'd like you to just breathe normally, okay? And then put your awareness to your actual physical heart. So what I find is that when I put my awareness to this area of the heart, I'm actually becoming more aware of the part of me that is dealing with real time, okay? So I remember once telling you that this, what we know is our conscious mind, right, ourselves, right, actually operates at 1/10 of a second, whereas the rest of the body's working in general at 1/100th of a second, which means that this part right here is actually following late, okay? So when you concentrate on what's going on in your actual physical heart, it takes the energy away from this back reptilian part of the brain, okay? Takes it away from there, and then focuses it down here. Now the heart is quite particular because it regulates blood pressure and all the chemicals, all the feelings, adrenaline, anything, right? Feel good chemicals, they're all going to pass through the heart. And so the heart is what regulates what happens with the rest of the body. So I find that if this part is overstimulated, if I put more attention to what's going inside in my actual physical heart, I'll find that my heart knows how to regulate the functions of the rest of my body. And I'll start to feel much more balanced, let's say emotionally and mentally, and even physically. I'll feel something just feel all of a sudden kind of let go. So when you put the energy here, now some of you need this to put your hand here to be more aware of where your heart actually is and put your attention there. If you like, you can just simply do this again and then just imagine your awareness, okay, coming more into your physical heart. So either way works, it really doesn't matter. The point is that you're putting more of your energy into this area and then feeling how your heart, your physical heart, regulates the rest of your body, okay? And I think that many of you who have been maybe overstimulated in the reptilian part of the brain will start to feel a calmness. It's almost like the eye of a hurricane, okay? Where it's this neutral point, okay? So, so just go ahead and keep breathing, normally, okay? You don't have to do big, oversized breaths. Sometimes that overstimulates and makes people even more nervous, okay? So whatever feels good to you, okay? Whatever makes you feel more relaxed and in the moment, just do that. Now, what I would like you to do is have your awareness in your heart area and then start to travel down with your mind, down your legs, okay, down both legs, and then down to your feet. So this right here is going to help tie yourself, okay? For those of you who have been experiencing spinning thoughts, right, that almost could make you feel dizzy, right? What you're doing is you're becoming aware of the bottoms of your feet and the fact that you are here, you're now. This is something secure that you can rely upon. So this should help you feel much more grounded in your body and more synchronous with your body, okay? Because right now, in times of fear, you're going to get a lot of asynchronous things going on, which will feel like chaos, okay? So now that you're feeling the bottoms of your feet, okay, you can even imagine yourself passing through the floor and down into the ground. Now for some people, this is actually very helpful and makes them feel very rooted and balanced on this earth, but it's not necessary, okay? The point is that you go back into your body again and you start to become aware of it. So mind you, you can do any of these for as long as you like. And you can just move forward or backwards in the video. So when you feel nice and rooted in your feet, right, on this ground, then you can move your energy and your attention, your awareness back up into your heart. Now, when you feel nice and calm and back inside your own heart, you're going to start to bring your mental awareness back up to your head area. Okay? And I believe, hopefully, if this works out, and you really feel more grounded and aware of what's going on heart-wise, when you think now, you will actually feel not this tightness and concentration back here, but you'll start to feel your awareness being able to travel to the rest of your brain. And hopefully you'll be able to think more clearly and feel much more balanced. Okay, so hopefully this is helpful. I find it to be helpful. If you have any questions, just let me know via email. It's not an easy time, but it is also a very important opportunity and an intense experience that could actually help you to learn how to focus and to really be in yourself. So right now there are many things that are being taken away, but I would almost think of it as distractions are being pushed aside. And now you have to learn how to be rooted in yourself. So instead of listening to this and that, which can make you feel like you're almost spinning out, you don't know what's going on, right? And it feels very disorienting. You go back into yourself, you root yourself back into your body, you let your heart become the regulator for the rest of your body, rather than your reptilian, which is going into fight or flight mode, and then you start to reassess things, okay? Because ultimately, you are your own master. And there's really not much you can do about trying to change somebody else. It's not like you can tell them what to do. But it's very important that you know who you are and you become aware of yourself. So I hope this helps, and I'll see you later.